Hello, we are live. This is Ryan Munn with Interchain Live, and we've got Dr. Wallace on with us, who I met back around Consensus in New York City. We had some great conversations about personal data protection and personal sovereignty. And I'd like to introduce Dr. Wallace. And Wallace, feel free to share your full name and let us know, a little bit more about your background, the company you're working with, and what you're doing.
Sure. Thank you, Ryan, for your invitation. Hi, everybody. This is Wallace Lynch, founder of Alpha Browser. So we met in May, and we had very interesting conversation with Ryan about digital democracy, personal privacy, and also the future of the content economy that we are facing. So this is big topic, but trickle down to what we are going to do. Basically, I think it's very simple. It is how we're going to interact with the digital world. So that's what we are concerned about, and this is what Alpha Browser is doing.
Absolutely, and you've kind of coined a term that I like, digitson and digitsanship.
Yes.
Really helps us think beyond the sort of former frameworks of what it is to be a citizen or a denizen of a place. And elaborate on that for us a little bit, please.
Sure, definitely. So as a citizen, as a social member of a civilized society, that every citizen should enjoy a certain given rights. For example, the freedom of speech, the freedom of pursuing happiness and fortune. So these are the common sense in the previous non-digital society. But in the digital society, things are changing dramatically. It's really, really fast. For example, when we are using the internet tools, for example, a browser or a social network platform to get access to information and to interact with people, have we think about our privacy and our data usage?
Right. Well, I know I think about it, and I know that a lot of people do think about it, and we sort of feel about it more than we think about it, right? It gets a little scary, and then we decide we don't want to think about it anymore because that's scary. So we just click the button and move on to the thing that we want.
Yeah, actually, everybody that every day in our life generates a lot of data. Some of them are intentionally generated, like you write an article, you shoot a video. And most of them are generated unintentionally. For example, your browsing history, your geolocation data, your health data. These data is generated by you and suppose owned by you. But
Supposedly.
think about it. Do you really own this data?
Right. Well, not if nobody's required to accurately report how they use it and specifically how they monetize it. If that's not happening, then you don't own it, because if I own something, I expect to understand exactly what it's doing at all times and know the details.
Yeah. In fact, if you upload anything to the website or platform like YouTube, that you lost the intellectual property.
Right.
The copyright
Right.
is no longer yours. And
Right.
also, your browsing history is constantly being harvested, collected, and analyzed, and being sold to the platforms, not you.
Right.
So platforms and websites like Google or Facebook, they benefit financially from the data that belongs to you, generated by you, and you get nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, one of the things that we talked about was, the personal data protection law that passed in Vermont. It was not restrictive in any way, but it's enabling. And so it's opening the door for companies to basically act at a higher standard and take that fiduciary responsibility over data. But to that point, what you're saying is that there's a personal responsibility that we need to sort of learn in order to decide what tools we use to protect our data, so that we're not so dependent on some third party to take fiduciary responsibility, but that we exercise our rights and use the tools available to us to take that right back to us.
Definitely. So the state of Vermont just kickstart a very positive beginning, that to help citizens and digitizens to realize that the franchise and the rights of ours needs to taken back. And this is the first step, but it is a very encouraging first step. But for average people, um, uh, our philosophy is to encourage everyone to become a digitizen instead of a digital dweller in the digital society, meaning you need to realize that what is your basic right and have a certain basic tool to protect against those digital theft or robbery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. So we recently reconnected with the launch into the Android app. You had the iOS out for a little while now, but so now you have Android and iOS browsers available. And that's what kind of re-sparked a quick conversation between us. So tell us a little bit about that browser as one of the tools for the Digitson.
Sure, definitely. Um, the browser is a basic tool for human and digital world to interfacing. 30 years ago, along with the invention of the web browser, that people are brought into the internet era. But after that, basically, there are no new revolution for the browser. And since we're entering the mobile internet era, that people are relying on a lot of apps instead of the browser to interfacing with digital world. Um, there, that introduced a big problem of the fragmentation of the data access. It's no longer like in the past that you have a browser, then you browse through all the websites. Nowadays, you use Facebook to do social. You use YouTube app to do video viewing, and you have probably hundreds of apps in your mobile phone, and you need to use each one of them for each individual task. It's so frustrated. You don't have a universal and consolidated website access experience. And the
Right. Well,
worst thing is,
I was going to say the corporations have really pushed, the commercialization has really pushed for the operating system to be the browser, which is really not a very good layering of security and personal protection.
the reason being a lot of private data has been collected and been used and sold by the browser. So currently we have several major browser developers. They collect a lot of data and plant a lot of cookies in the website and collected by the browser. That is a not fair situation for the
Right.
average user. The user
Absolutely.
does not have the knowledge of those IT technology and
Hmm.
also doesn't understand most of the importance of the digital asset. So this is how we come up with the solution of Alpha Browser. Alpha Browser is a completely decentralized mobile browser developed particularly for the people who we are really caution and pressure treasure about our individual liberty and private data. Alpha Browser does not collect personal data at all, period, because it does not implement any cookies. So
Excellent.
yeah,
Excellent.
this is very important. It
Yeah.
does not
So you can't
collect
even turn
personal
them
data.
on. So if something requires cookies, that just won't work.
Yeah, it won't work. You can use the other browser, but on
Right.
Alpha Browser, it's not going to work because we are not collecting people's data, period.
Okay. So if people want to see and sort of get a demonstration of just how how much data is collected and how restrictive it is to do that, they can go around to all the websites they typically go to and do it through Alpha Browser and get a better awareness of really how much data is trying to be captured by those websites just
Yeah,
by all the
exactly.
terms that come up.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Alpha Browser did a few very innovative things. One
Mhm.
is to allow users to share the experience and their opinion above and beyond the website level.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this energy concept. Talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. So energy is the thing that we put into the alpha browser system to encourage people to communicate and also to share good quality of content. Nowadays, over 80% of the digital content available on internet are digitally created garbage or SEO data. It
Mhm.
is generated by artificial intelligence and it is consumed by human, which make
Right.
no sense at all. So all this white noise, it diluted our time and our efficiency. Um, it is not good.
Yeah, we need
So
that flow to go the other way. If we want good AI to be implemented effectively to actually solve real human problems, the data flow needs to go from the people to the AI.
yeah, so artificial intelligence, they are artificial, they are not real. So what we want is the human intelligence, not the artificial intelligence.
Right. Well, I think we talked about this briefly. I would argue that our intelligence is artificial, and until we accept that, we don't have control over what we can do with it.
Yes. So on Alpha Browser, that we have a curation system that we really have the collective human wisdom that everybody curate and share their favorite content, then we can enjoy the collective wisdom of the whole society instead of sift through by the AIs and give you the recommendation that make your digital content consumption obese.
Right. Like we have a skewed view of that right now because people think that like, oh, well, if we give people all this power to share opinions, like we're just going to get the wrong answers. We sort of like sold this idea, even though hundreds of years ago we realized that if not more, that if we take an average of estimates from people, the average is more likely to be accurate than any individual. And so this is the foundation of democracy. This is what's allowed this intellectual development to occur from open source development, and yet we're fed and believe the idea that like if we give this much power to people, oh no, like people are evil, people are corrupt, people do bad things with it. At the end of the day, what we realize is that people have done bad things. The problem is that the people with either the poor judgment or the corruption, and then combine that with the power by capital, they're then able to employ bots and all kinds of alterations to the system, which skew the representation of the human projection. And so, what you're doing here sounds like you're really creating the opportunity to filter out those outside and corrupting influences in order to truly get the human voice.
Yes, indeed. We rely on humans' judgment because the content is created for human consumption.
Mm-hmm.
Metadata is a different story. So we create a decentralized, democratic content ecosystem that people can really select, curate, share, and commenting on those content that are really meaningful for the people. We don't censor the content and comment. This is very important. Nowadays, if you use social network platforms, uh, you are not only being collected for all your private information,
Mm-hmm.
you are also being censored, being banned
Right.
by those platforms.
Right.
And Alpha Browser is the tool to break through this censorship that it goes above and beyond all the website and platform level because it's a browser. Unless you are not rendering TCP/IP content through
Right.
HTTP protocol, then everything is accessible through Alpha Browser. So we help people first protect the digital asset you own. Second, to vanguard our speech of freedom that you are entitled to whatever opinion that you would like to elaborate.
Excellent, excellent. And so now Alpha Browser integrates with a couple other tools, right? But you have an event coming up. We have a competition here, and I want
Yes,
to
it
make
is
sure that
called
I want to make
Top
sure we got it.
Content Hunter Tournament. So it's content hunters. We encourage every internet user to be content hunter. Hunter means you hunt for good content and
Okay.
also to smash or destroy the bad content. That's
Okay.
the two sides of the hunter. And we want everybody to be as discretional as they are, and to really to maintain a healthy and positive ecosystem of online world.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And there's some pretty good rewards there for the hunters that participate. Are there? So yeah, it's begun September 28th. It began. So we're about a week
Yes,
into it. What?
it's going on right now. So the tournament is very simple. Basically, you just discover and curate good content of your taste, whatever you think is good, you want to share with the whole world, then
Mhm.
share it through Alpha Browser in the hot session. Then everybody can read it. When other people read it, if they like it, they will love you. And basically to click love and give you a few energy to boost the ranking of your content. And if the content is bad, then people probably gonna smash you. So we'll demote the ranking of the content. And by the end of the day, the top ranked content, um, whoever is sharing that content, who want the daily price of $100. So that's very simple.
Yeah, very
And
cool. Very cool. Now, when somebody downranks you, is that? I mean, it's obviously still listed for a while until it gets downranked enough. But does it disappear at some point, or is it always somewhere in the listing?
oh, it's always in the listing. It is just if you publish something that really bad, that people really hate it and get smashed a lot, then you'll
Yep.
be smashed into an ambulance. Then you need to use some energy to resurrect it.
Gotcha.
So the
Gotcha.
content is always there, but it's just hard to be discovered by people because it's really, really down to the bottom.
Cool. Cool. I like it. And do people get to express any thoughts or opinions on their
Definitely.
votings or rankings?
Definitely. So Alpha Browser has a commenting function that's across all platform. So you don't need to be a member of a certain website or platform to be able to commenting on it. So
Okay.
this is a very unique feature.
Awesome.
Our commenting and sharing function is cross website. It goes across the whole internet world. So you can comment on anything.
Excellent. Excellent. Cool. Well, I love it, man. This is great. I'll definitely be exploring Alpha Browser a little bit more myself. I was going to look for some screenshot. I was pulling it up on my phone, but I don't know if it'll come up well on the
Yeah,
screen.
it's very simple. You just go to App Store and Google Alpha Browser, two words with a space in between
Oh
Alpha
yeah,
and
absolutely.
Browser. Yep.
Yep. So yep, here's the Alpha Browser. I was looking for. Do you have screenshots of the app? It's pretty
We have,
straightforward, right? You've
yeah,
got.
it's very straightforward
Oh
whenever
yeah. Oh,
you
here it is,
have.
right there. So yeah.
Mhm.
So here's your menu. We've got the home today. You can click if you followed something, and then go into me. So you'll register in the browser to create a login, right?
Yes. You only need a email address to register an account. We don't do two-stage authentication. That's
Okay.
basically a heavy invasion of our private data.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Excellent. So yeah, people should go out and check this out. Participate in the contest, right? How many? Can you give me some stats on participation right now in the contest?
Yeah, it's fervently competed. We already have 6 daily winners. Two of them actually won twice. Our monthly winner is actually whoever wants the most daily prize will be the monthly winner. So daily prize is $100 and the monthly prize is $1,000. So every user that is welcome to share your opinion, your favorite content, or even your own creation through Alpha Browser by promoting your own opinion and agenda that you win the prize. If your opinion and your content is attractive to people.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So yeah, I encourage everybody to participate. I'll be playing with this a bit. See what we can do to get even just to get some of our content out there. We'll probably get on there and like our own page. I'd encourage you guys to do the same.
Sure,
Thank you.
definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Any content creator is welcome to check it out and use our tournament to promote your content and your agenda, no matter your agenda is mainstream or not mainstream, it doesn't matter. In a democratic society, that everybody's voice needs to be heard.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is not just for browsing the online content that's out there, but your platform allows people to produce their own content, upload their videos, and get it out there to the community and get it spread, get it ranked and rated, and become part of the community in that way as well.
Yeah, definitely. Any content that is available through internet is shareable on Alpha Browser. That means you can use that content to participate in the Top Content Hunter tournament.
Awesome, awesome. That sounds excellent. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I really appreciate you joining us, Dr. Wallace. I appreciate everyone out there watching and taking some responsibility for your own personal data protection, and go out and check out Alpha Browser and learn more about how it works and some of the other tools out there to protect yourself. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everybody.